group of you have picked up the supplies that you need for the two jobs: the snowy owlbear pelt, dire snowy owlbear pelt, and the uh, happenings south of Cobalt Lake. The group of you are in Armskirk. You've selected your horses, named Biggin, Astelid, Hustle, and Tito. In addition to the bloody pup that Dunnan will be able to ride. Uh, what it, uh, what do you want to do before you set out, if anything?
I think we are all supplied and ready to venture out.
Yeah.
So, just for the image, Tannen would be in front with the bloody pup, and we'll look back, and just for the image because it's fucking funny, just for the people to imagine a dwarf on a hound-like dog, and behind him like four people on horses. I'd be like, the bloody mad dogs ride out, and would raise his fist in the air and then move forward and keep his head held high so that everybody can see. It's just for appearance, my friends. Just bear with me.
Make me a performance check.
Oh boy.
A decent charisma bonus.
Aeolus eyes very heavily.
Quite heavily. And that size matched by a few of the onlookers.
Oh, he's proud of himself. He just...
No. You're already going. Doesn't matter. No. And,
Nope. I'm doing it. He's doing it.
off you go. So let me actually drop you guys back on the map. I think I can shift ping you guys down to the bottom. Yeah, there we go. Okay. My computer's bugging out today. Does not like me. Am I zoomed in? That might be part of my problem. There we go. Okay. Travel from Armskirk. Now, by foot, you cover 2 hexes, which is 6 leagues, which is roughly 18 miles, in a day. With horses, as long as the terrain is good, you can cover twice that distance in a day. So we're looking at 4 hexes a day, or 12 leagues. So we have 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 6, 48, 4 day. So it'll take you 5 days exactly to reach the Lisette logging camp. And since it's on the western side of that hex, would be the very last bit of travel, really burns the day. Pretty good distance over the course of 5 days. As part of that travel for the day, or over the next 5 days, pardon me, is there anything that anyone would like to accomplish in particular?
I would like to practice the skinning techniques
Okay.
so that Aeolus is familiar and we have hopefully less of a chance to screw up this pelt.
Okay, do you have something upon which to practice? How are you going about practicing this?
I think for each day, when we start to bed down and set up camp or as we give the horses their needed rest, Aeolus would hunt for any size game that is available, whether it's
Okay. Make me 3 perception checks with advantage. For the course of the evenings that you proceed with. Two of the nights you are moderately successful. The first night you find a decent sized rabbit that you're able to successfully sort of stalk remarkably well for you. And then the second night you are able to, with the aid of your companions, find one of the thresh deer and slay that. Make me a survival check for each of them, please. The rabbit and then the deer. And Willem, make me a chef's tools roll with intelligence or wisdom, your choice.
Ooh, I could help with that.
All right, so the survival, the rabbit, it's a little difficult. The pelt's a bit butchered. That's it. Best way to use the rabbit pelt is actually to sort of turn it into a string and then invert it on itself and sort of twist it together and make sort of a leather rope, effectively. Which you are able to do, but it's not really... That's about as good as it's going to get for you. The thresh deer pelt comes out remarkably better. You're unable to salvage sort of the neck and head of it, but the rest of it is decent. Go ahead and add a thresh deer pelt to your inventory. It does need to be tanned before it can be used effectively, but it could be sold to a tanner, or you could purchase someone's services to tan it for you. But it's a pelt. It still needs that work before it can be really used for anything. All right. Feel like you have it decently underway. Are you and Helaras also practicing languages during the day?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Okay. You get because it is during travel, you get a quarter of the amount of time that you spend during the travel. So each of you, but there's 5 days, so each of you can add 10 hours to your respective language practice, since you're sort of splitting it half and half. So Helaras, I believe you're working on Infernal. So you add 10 hours to Infernal, and Aeolus, you can add 10 hours to Orc. And you need, I believe I said 40 or 50 hours?
Yeah.
For proficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're getting there. Okay. But that's during travel. That's not anything else. You're using your downtime, Aeolus, to hunt. Anyone else doing anything during the travel or during your downtime in the evenings?
No, well, during the downtime in the evenings while eating and with everybody just bantering, Darren would ask, so, anybody knows something about snowy owlbears? Do they live in caves, outside? How do we attract them? Anybody knows?
All of you, including you, Dunnan, I can roll a history or nature check. Your decision.
Equally bad.
Both intelligence checks.
Nice.
Go.
Equally bad doesn't mean you can't just spike the roll. Okay. Helaras, you want to roll? Willem, can
My
I have...
family is letting me, driving me crazy. 3 nature checks?
History or nature, your choice. And Willem,
definitely
can you
nature.
roll those chef's tools, cook's utensils checks with either intelligence or wisdom, please? 2 of them.
Can do.
All right. Helaras, nature. Okay. We're going with the first one, 22 though. Pretty good.
Okay.
Alright, so that's 3 successes. So, just missed the DC there, Aeolus. Of course you have, I think, the worst, but no, you have this best bonus tied with Hellrest. So you guys know 3, between the group of you, know 3 interesting facts about the snowy owlbears, particularly. Not sure about the dire variants, but I'd like 3d8 rolls, please. From a roll from Dunnan, Willem, and Hellrest, a d8 each. And Willem, you can add 10 days worth of rations to the party's inventory. Party's worth of rations for the thresh deer and the rabbit that Aeolus successfully caught.
Right. We rolled a total of 8. Nice.
All right. Hellrest, reroll that. Don't need repeats, otherwise you're getting the same information.
With 2 natural ones.
Reroll the 6, please.
There are numbers in between this.
The dice are trolling us.
I know, right? How many times can Hellrest roll a d8 and get a 1 or a 6?
Am I supposed to do anything else?
Reroll it again, because it's...
Oh, one more time?
Yeah, we're trying to get a number other than 1 or 6, so I know which pieces of information to give you guys.
Here comes another one.
Oh my god, damn it, Aeolus.
Nice. Let me reroll, maybe.
Alright,
Yeah.
done and go for it.
Come on.
Hey,
There
there
you
we
go.
go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Alright, so we got 1, 6, and 8. Okay. The snowy owlbear is known as a legendary predator. It's feared by both creatures and adventurers alike. Its reputation for strength, size, and ferocity precedes it, making it a formidable opponent, not likely to back away from anything it considers threatening. 6. The snowy owlbear is larger and more. The dire snowy owlbear is larger and more powerful than its regular counterparts. It possesses immense strength in its muscular limbs, allowing it to overpower and maul its prey with ease. Between its deadly claws and ferocious beak, all of which are razor sharp, it can deliver bone-crushing bites and severe injuries to anyone that crosses its path. And then 8. Ooh, that's a good one. The snowy owlbear has an affinity for cold and ice, making it a mostly solitary predator, but is highly resistant to the extreme effects of cold and is potentially capable of manipulating or mastering its own environment to lend itself benefits in survival and hunting.
Shit.
This sounds like quite the challenge.
And Willem, you added the party rations for your inventory as well?
Yeah.
So you have deer and... Well, you probably made the rabbit than it was. You have deer meat.
And during the travels, I would just be foraging for whatever is forageable.
Sure. Make me 3 survival checks then, while Aeolus is hunting. Okay, so that is 21 and 21 both succeed. So the one of the nights you find it's a hardy perennial plant. It's known as a prairie turnip. Has slender stems and vibrant green leaves. It's an underground tuber is the main edible part. It looks like a small potato, and when cooked, it becomes sort of soft and starchy, with slightly sweet, nutty flavor. Prairie turnip is a traditional food used by nomadic tribes.
There.
Let me grab you a...
Sounds good.
Like cook it in some of that ale with the deer. In fact, make a nice hearty stew.
There you go. And then your other one. You find a small deciduous shrub. It grows not more than about knee height. And it's hard to identify from some of its other variants, but you've managed to successfully do so. One of the tricks is the poisonous variety's leaves do not bear berries. The edible ones do. And conveniently, you do find a decent-sized handful, about a half a cookpot's worth of berries across a few plants of what's known as auroch berries. They're oval-shaped berries and small, bright red, and a bit tangy. They have a unique flavor profile, combining tartness with a very small hint of sweetness. They're very rich in essential vitamins and can be eaten fresh, dried, or you can use them to make jams, jellies, and sauces.
Sounds fantastic. I feel like we'd have 2 solid dinners going there.
This is starting to sound like an episode of Cutthroat Kitchen or something. You gotta use the spreader bars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you are able to forage a little bit along the trail. Anyone else have anything during that travel, or are we jumping to the set logging camp?
Just quickly, I will turn to Willem. Since we're going against a snowy creature, I think I'd rather dislikes fire, so you should bet on your fire spells if possible. And also, Yolas, when you cut yourself, you mostly use thunder. Is there any way that you could use some fire on your blades?
I do not have the capability.
Too bad. Well, we'll make do somehow.
Yeah, I could make fiery things.
Make it burn. But, doesn't that hurt the pelt? Maybe I better scratch that. Did the note mention how much they need of the pelt? Like 10 pounds or 20 pounds?
You have the writ with you. When you claim the bounty, you take the parchment. Unfurling it, it does not mention any specific weightage of it. It just says a dire snowy owlbear pelt. So you assume as much as possible.
Okay.
So, do we want to try? I don't know how well it will go, but avoid damaging the pelt as much as possible.
Maybe use blunt weapons like I do. You know, slashing is rather damaging to the pelt, I would say. I mean, I don't know how big that dire snowy owlbear is. I
Well,
expected pretty large creature, so...
and based off the information that the three of you have on it, I think we'd want to bring everything that we have to offer to try to fell this beast.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
one of us isn't walking off of those mountains.
Well, if it goes to the shits, rather than thinking about the bounty, better thinking about survival. So scratch or fuck that belt if it goes south, alright?
Us running
Don't-
away from a fight.
No, I don't say it running away, but just forget about the pelt. Just bring it down somehow. We're gonna salvage a pelt somehow. And the note doesn't specify if it's 2 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. We'll bring back something. The more the better, but well, we'll see. Alright, let's get going.
Okay. Over the course of the travel, other conversations and planning are surely had, interspersed by random phrases and infernal and orcish as you swap languages back and forth. After the next 5 days' time, the sun is already set behind the Cloudspine Mountains, briefly illuminating their jagged peaks as your penultimate destination comes into focus, the Lisette logging camp. You've trailblazed from the west rather than taking the road up from the Troll Run. From the east going to the west. Rather than taking the established trails from Elderthorn. You come around sort of the back side of the Lisette logging camp. True to Siegfried's adept way at navigating. You arrive and have to sort of travel around the camp to get to the main entrance. As you do, you can see most of the activity is sort of dying down for the evening. There is a large stack of trees, each of which is at least 3 feet, some of which are 4 feet or greater in diameter, sort of lined up along one side of the encampment. And people are seemingly starting to get ready to go to sleep after a long work day, as a group of you sort of trundle in on your various mounts. Where do you go in here? No one approaches you at the moment.
I guess we would seek out Siegfried's father, if possible.
So his father's not here. He traveled
No,
with
okay.
last time you were here. He traveled with you to Elderthorn. He's done for the
Okay.
season. He works here the winter season as a steward.
Okay.
One individual of which you know here would be Bugram, the Amberbraids. Well, one of the Amberbraids' children. Younger dwarf. Also the woodworker of the family. And took the warmer seasons job here to get some other experience in his life. You can find Bugram, though. 15 minutes of asking around. You can locate him as the sort of surly dwarf with the sides of his head shorn. Here's the handout again. He comes around. See, what the hell are you doing here? Where'd you get horses? You steal them from one of the farmers?
We look like thieves to you. We're the bloody mad dogs.
You always look like
Of
a thief
course,
to me.
we-
Look at you. Yeah, you got
we
that
bought
fucking
them.
face.
Yeah. Just forget that you said that, but we're here. We want to leave those horses here. We're gonna go on a hunt. Have you ever heard of a dire snow owl bear?
Roll
Big
me
creature?
a d20 for Bugram. He's got a +4. Heard owlbears. I'd imagine there's probably snowier ones, I guess. They live in snow. That'd be why they called it that, yeah?
And smart ass, yes.
Oh no, not
And the
beyond that.
Cloudspine
It sounds unpleasant.
going.
You want to leave your horses
No.
here, though?
Yes, we can take them with us to the mountains.
How many days are you
I
going to be
don't
gone?
think that's rather difficult terrain for them.
How long are you gonna be gone?
Oh, well, I think like 3 to 4 days. We're gonna plan. I don't know how easy it's to hunt down a snow, or early snow bear.
Can I put them to work
Snowy
while you're
owl
gone?
bear. So, sorry?
Can I put your horses to work while they're gone? While you're gone?
I hope you rather not. They are not working horses, they are riding horses. Don't want them to break a leg or something, because they are not used to working.
Alright, fine. Will you owe me one?
And I give him. How much do I have? Fine.
I don't want your
I
fucking
give him
coin.
1 gold piece.
No, I don't want your coin. I want a favour from you.
A favor?
Aye, a favour.
Is that favor gonna bite me in the ass later?
Most assuredly.
Oh, great. If it's a dirty favor, I'm gonna tell Emil.
That's fine.
Alright. Alright. You got yourself a favor. But only if the horses are fine after we come back.
Alright,
Once
horse is
missing or
fine.
hurt, the favor is off.
Seems
Got
reasonable.
it?
He sort of extends his hand for you to shake.
I'll shake his hand.
Oh, alright. I got it work before dawn. I'm going to sleep. You can find a patch of muddy ground and sleep on it if you want. Don't care.
Nothing new to us. We're used to that.
He sort of takes the bridles for your horses and loops them together and starts leading the 4 of the horses off.
Boy, I don't know if that was a good idea to agree to that, but what choice do we have?
Can't be any
Anything?
worse than what we agreed to. I don't think.
It just shrugs. Well, we'll see. First, let's focus on the task at hand and find those snowy owlbear somewhere. Or it finds us, I don't know.
The group of you have an evening in the Lisette logging camp. Not much is different here from sleeping on the road, and the ground is quite a bit muddier and unpleasant to sort of pitch tents and bedrolls upon. But the evening passes. The next day, Blake brings a slight drizzle as you set out from the Lisette logging camp. Now, you have a few different directions you can go here. Are you heading straight to the mountains and just starting to try to climb in any direction? Are you heading to the one settlement you know that is at the foot of the mountain, Matron Toadtooth's home? Although she does have a sheer cliff upon which her home backs up onto. Whereabouts are you starting this?
Is there any known path to traverse the mountains?
You're trailblazing.
Okay.
Should we stick along the Choral Run?
You could do that. Follow the Choral Run up to its headwaters.
That might
Are
be
we
the
thinking
safest
in
bet.
any way? Are we considering in any way going to Matron Toadtooth's place and working with the stone that we just got? Or are we just gonna be right there and walk by it?
Well, personally, I don't want to hit Matron Toadtooth without Hill in here.
Okay.
Do also remember, Hellerest would also remember, anytime that you use the transportation of the Bodemall stones and the henge network, you suffer you suffer a level of exhaustion.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you were to use
Save it
Matron
for later.
Toadtooth to go to Urcrypt and then place the stone into one of the henges in Urcrypt, and then go back to Matron Toadtooth, you'd be have 2 levels of exhaustion immediately.
Ew. Okay.
I mean, we could stop by and ask her for some information on the owlbear, but
Good.
I don't think she knows much about it. It could be.
Only a couple hours
mean-
diversion.
It wouldn't hurt if she possibly has information.
But we shouldn't mention the boat mole stone for now.
Yeah,
mean-
not yet.
We should inform Storm Surge first before, yeah, telling her.
Sounds
I mean,
good.
we could just check in, yeah. Bed's on the way, why not? And she's
Yeah,
been
no,
living there for the last couple of years. She might be the best to know the mountains there. Oh, let's give her a visit. I think it's a good idea.
Alright. So, following the troll run for a few hours, as you decide on this, you veer off to the west, towards Mission Toadtooth. So you only have to double back maybe about 30 minutes worth of travel, which you can do sort of at an angle as you approach. And you reach her small home and the clearing about 150 feet away that has the henge set upon it. Right about noon of this day. You see the small home that's sort of set against the cliff wall that stretches above you a few hundred feet, maybe, up into unknown parts of the mountain. The home itself is cozy, with small round windows and curved top to the door. So you open a small gate made out of looks like salvaged limbs and approach her door. A few gentle raps. You see the drow woman emerge from within. Let me grab and up. Hello. I did not expect to see you again for some time. I've not learned of any more. I did promise I would alert you, and I've put my feelers out, but there's been nothing as of yet. What brings the pleasure of your company today?
Don't worry, matron. We just came here on a whim. We are currently on a hunt. You ever heard of a dire snowy owlbear? It's supposed to live in the mountains here. And we are to bring his pelt. Its pelt.
I may have heard of such a creature. Please, come in. She steps aside and gesture and sort of proffers for you to enter her home.
You got some more of this tea? It was quite delicious.
I'll put on some for you.
Great.
She goes about puffing about with tea and some crackers as she sort of settles you all in for a moment. Excuse me one moment. Goes to some back area of the home. Looks like the home is deeper than you thought. You're not sure if it's maybe set into a cave or something upon the cliff wall, but she comes back a little while later with a small book in her hand. He said, "Dire snowy owlbear, yes?"
That's what we were told, yes.
So flips through the book. Well, the owlbears are particularly dangerous creatures in their own right.
We know
Their
that
dire
much.
variety grows significantly larger. Sometimes 10 foot to the shoulder. could be several £1,000 worth of beast. Be careful. Maybe
Oh.
£1,500 worth of monstrosity, mind you.
Are they on 4 legs or on 2 legs usually?
They'll fight on both. Their
Okay.
their foreclaws are particularly dangerous, and they have generally a surprising reach. If you get too close to them, you might be within their clutches before you know it. Especially with those 4 legs. They can't fly, but they are fast. And while it might be, they rarely leave their caves or lairs or crevasses, wherever they make their home, except to hunt and mate. Now, taking one while it's hunting would be particularly difficult because of their natural camouflage. But if you were able to find one while it was hunting, you're in for an easier time. Taking one within its own home, that's a different matter. These creatures often, just as a robin builds a nest, the owlbear builds its home, constructs it to its own pleasure. So you'd be in for a particular bit of danger should you try to take it in its own lair.
They are usually lone wolves. They live by themselves, right?
Correct. You're unlikely to encounter two or more of them together, thankfully.
Except they're mating. Alright.
I would not. If you do find that, I would recommend you not interrupt.
Isn't it mating season in the spring?
It
Usually?
depends on the creature.
Oh.
I don't have any of the information on
Right.
that here. I wouldn't recommend trying to interrupt two of these creatures mating, mind you.
Oh.
At least wait.
Does it mention
a day.
anything? Does it mention anything about altitude? How high are their caves, or doesn't that matter to them?
It doesn't seem to speak on it. It seems like anywhere that's perpetually cold and wintry is a suitable home for them. The cold
Which
does
is
not
everywhere
bother
in the
them.
mountains. Great.
Well, the cloud spines, surely above an altitude where the water will stay snow year round. Yes, and that is most of the cloud spines. Very few mountains are less tall than that, so you need to be careful, mind you.
You know?
Do you have all of the gear that you would need to keep yourselves warm?
Yes, we equipped ourselves in Armskirk. Got climbing gear, clothes for cold weather, rations. We should be hopefully rightfully prepared for the task at hand.
Okay. I have very little else. You say you're collecting a pelt of one, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. The only thing I would... This is more of my own personal experience and a little bit of intuition. Ensure that you have a way to create fire.
That's what was my thing, but doesn't it burn the pelt?
No. Once you've slain your quarry, assuming you're successful in finding and slaying it, you'll need to keep the area around it warm, so that way the pelt does not freeze to the cooling body.
Didn't think of that. That's good advice. Thank you very much.
You could risk moving quickly, but if you need an intact pelt, it'd be much easier to just ensure that it does not, the blood itself doesn't freeze to the body.
Right, and Willem. You heard that, Willem? So do bring your fire. We're gonna need a lot of it.
Yeah. They did say that it's several £1,000, so I think I'd need several £1,000 worth of fire, right?
Well, we're not gonna bring the carcass. We're only gonna use the pelt, but
If you
I don't know.
if you do manage to slay one, as long as the pelt does not include the claws or beak, if you manage to bring them back to me, I'd happily trade for them. Or maybe a few pounds of the said meat as well. It's supposed to be tasty.
Well, I think we can do that.
If we set out to slay this creature, we're not just going to take the pelt. We should probably take everything that we can.
Oh, I was sure you're gonna take your parts of the creature, like you always do. Well, it's alright, Eos. It's your stick. It's alright.
Would you happen to have any oil?
Oil? I have lantern oil.
Do you have any that you could spare, maybe, if we can purchase some from you?
Could probably spare a pint or two of it. Especially if I'm being rewarded, provided that you're successful with a bit of meat and maybe a claw or two.
Most certainly.
I'd be happy to share some then. She goes to back and fetches you two sort of looks like reinforced wineskins almost. They're somewhat flexible, but they're quite sort of chunky leather, if that makes sense. Like they're
Yep.
and she hands them to you. You have so add 2 pints of lantern oil.
Since we are here, Matron, just a quick question.
Yes.
Since you last have been here, did somebody from Elazor visit you?
Yes,
By any chance?
actually. A young elven man. I forget his name. Very kind. He stopped
Elfin man?
Yeah, he stopped by, looked around the henge. Roll me a d20 for a history check.
Me again?
Yeah, I don't care who. Someone. Yeah, 13. I guess I'm sorry. He might have introduced himself. I did not recall his name. I stopped by, looked at the empowered henge. Didn't choose to go through it. And then left. Later that day. I think he was staying at the logging camp.
Was he from the Blackburn Watch?
Yes,
Did you mention that?
yes, he was. He was from the watch. I greeted him, chatted briefly. He wasn't quite becoming.
Look at Eolus. Anybody you might know, Eolus? Elfin gentleman?
So,
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, there's at least a half dozen that immediately spring to mind as like Elven man,
Yeah.
within the Blackburn Watch, of various rank and skill level. You're not sure which one would have been interested to come take a look, but
How long was it ago, Matron?
oh, maybe about a 10-day after you had left here. A while back now.
Nothing ever since?
None since, no.
Oh.
Your other friend, the mayor, was asking about you as well.
The mayor from our crypt.
Yes, he and I have been getting on swimmingly.
Well,
How
we're
is it?
gonna visit him at some point.
From what it looked like the first time I visited, to the most recent, significantly better. Very nice area that he's done. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Are you going to pay him a visit as well?
Maybe in the near
Maybe
future,
after.
but yeah. No, now we've got 2 bounties to collect, or to fulfill rather than collect from Amskirk. So it might be some time before we can visit him.
Very well. I don't want to hold you up any longer. It's about 1 p.m. You
Just another question. Do you know any caves around here?
caves
the troll,
in the mountains? No. I don't typically go up into the mountains. Cold. That kind of cold doesn't quite agree with me. The wind, the blizzards, the avalanches, unknown crevasses, falling through the snow to being trapped in a hole, not my type cup of tea.
Sounds
So
like
you
we're
might
good
not
now.
know. Okay. No paths. You might know to make
I-
the ascent a bit easier.
There is a series of foothills a bit north of here, that feeds the troll run with a few various small streams. You could follow those. Be my
Mhm.
best recommendation.
Maybe we'll do that. Or look at the exit where the Chol Run River originates. Must be a cave there, coming out from the mountain. Might also be a pure pet. But thank you very much for the tips you provided us and the insight on the owl bear.
She collects the various teacups and small plates if any of you had any of the crackers. Well, thank you for assuring me you'll provide me a little bit of the spoils from your work.
Well, one hand washes the other, right?
Good luck to you all. And she closes the door behind you as you leave.
Well, now we got the options, right? It's a wise choice to come here.
Wonder who the elven guy was. What are the twins' names again?
Alan,
Bad guy? Alan? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a half
I do
elf,
hope-
but
Those are half elves, yeah.
I don't think he's back for a third time. I'm pretty sure I obliterated him the last time.
There are a number of elven descent individuals in the watch.
But wouldn't the Blackburn send more? Just one guy?
yeah, this,
I mean,
this
I
seems
mean-
weird.
I mean, if Matron Toadtoot's not a threat, why would you send more?
because it's a big discovery. I mean, a gate to another long lost civilization. Sounds like a big deal to me, but
It is, but if you are a resident of Elderthorn and you notice a handful of Blackburn men or individuals leaving, rumors start to spread. We know that all too well.
I mean, if you send like 10, 12 people, yes, but to send 2 or 3, well, it's not my business. It's Blackburn. It's not my business how to deal with them. If they want to approach it that way, it's alright, but it seems like nothing has been happening ever since. So, I don't know. Can I ask Storm Surge what he was thinking? But
Yeah. We can check in after.
yeah. Alright, let's go and hunt us down some owly snow bear. Snowy owl bear.
Okay. I assume you've been having this conversation while hiking. The about hour passes, as you sort of get back on trail, and then relatively quickly you're into what you suspect is the foothills that Matron Toadtooth spoke of. And you start following the headwaters of the Troll Run up into the foothills, and you're climbing over very large boulders and rocks as this water sort of tumbles and falls down various small waterfalls here and there. It's gone from the Troll Run River that you know that has this cacophonous sound of sort of force as it hits the walls and the sort of gutters that Elderthorn has sort of built around it, that causes this sort of churning sound to be ever present when you're near it in Elderthorn, to a much narrower stream that has this constant sort of babbling and falling sound. It's very different than what you're used to, having grown up around the other end of this waterway. Traveling further north, I'm going to pull up Siegfried's sheet and give a survival check for him. Where is Siegfried?
I'd probably assist if that's fine.
Sure. Alright. So assistance, that gives him advantage. Yeah, that'll do. Big assistance. Nice. That'll do. Over the remainder of the day, you continue to sort of climb these different boulders and then sort of make big sort of C shapes, sort of following bits of trail that go away from the water, then back towards it, knowing you don't want to get too far away from it. And by nightfall, the main stream itself is just sort of dissipated, and it's sort of splintered off, and you've crossed them here and there, like very small streams and springs that sort of are coming down from higher up, that you suspect just collectively feed into this single artery that is the Troll Run. As it sort of spreads out into the sources of this, and you no longer have a direct line. The air has gotten noticeably colder. You're not quite freezing yet, but the evening is well upon you now. The sun's been gone for the better part of 40 minutes. And you've just been working on the dwindling light of the sky. But now you find a relatively clear spot to set up camp as you are moving into the mountains. Anything before we move to the next day?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, on my end.
Right. You have as you wake the next morning, you have about an hour's worth of travel, and then you start hitting snowfall. Let me move you guys back to the main page. Give me a moment, please.
Everyone, Hondo up, put your snow gear on. It's gonna be a harsh one.
At least it pays well.
So
If we live.
So
don't top that.
I wonder if the amount that is promised here on the script is dependent on how much of the pelt that we bring back.
Well, might be. It doesn't mention the amount, so we could argue.
I would imagine it's as much of it as possible.
Well,
It's
this is 10,000 silver pieces.
No.
So if
costly.
we bring back a pelt that isn't the best of quality, does the place in that place this take away from the amount?
Well, you must also consider that skinning such a large beast takes a while. And
Yeah,
up there in the mountains, time is of the essence, so I don't think we can stay more than maybe 3 to 4 hours for skinning before we freeze or
Well,
whatever.
if we are able to fell this creature, we can set.
We will be able to. I don't know why you also doubt us. We had bigger challenges.
There,
What's just owl bear? Ugh, just a creature,
There-
a big one.
there's always the possibility. You have to acknowledge that. But
It's not in my mind. Failure is not in my mind, but alright.
we can set up camp where the battle happens, so that we have multiple heat sources, allowing us to spend longer on the creature.
If we find its cave, we'll have its cave too.
I would, based off of everything that was stated, I'd rather wait until it leaves its cave.
Well,
Maybe we
yes.
should lure it out with some bait. Maybe some meat we have. I don't know.
Mhm.
Or one of us.
Oh, don't look at me. Just because I'm a little bit more rounded, I'm not gonna be bait.
Well, I mean, you hit the hardest.
Yes. So
So, with your toughened skin, it'll take a little bit longer for the owlbear to rip through you. It definitely cannot be me. I would.
because you have no blood left in your veins because you always cut yourself, right?
Well, and we know that I'm a frail man. I get hit once and I'm immediately unconscious.
True.
As
Oh,
the
you
group
might
of
get
you,
thrown off the mountain by its claws.
as the group of you scale the mountain, I'd like a marching order, please, and you guys can place Siegfried wherever in said marching order.
I go second. I'm right behind Siegfried.
Okay.
Ellie's at the back.
Okay. Willem?
And I would tell Siegfried to look out for, I don't know, some trails. Big paws in the snow. I don't know.
I would
Guess that's
imagine
obvious.
Siegfried would take starry form and the dragon, his flying form, and be looking around.
Burn a wild shape? He'll burn a wild shape. Sure.
Oh gods.
Burn it.
Alright.
Light it up.
So he's in dragon form. So he'll make perception checks. Base 10. Yeah, he does fine. 24. Alright. Who of you well, Siegfried's looking for any sign of creatures as the group of you ascend further and further into the mountains. The air is freezing cold now. You can feel the wind sort of whip around you every time there's a particularly strong gust. It's constantly blowing, but every time there's that sort of harder breeze, it sort of brushes past the parts of any exposed skin that you have. And you do have cold weather gear. You have gloves. You have boots. One of you has a scarf. You have cloaks. But it is still cold. You still recognize that it is cold, and going is slow. With the gear that you have, you move about a quarter of a mile every hour as you're trudging through, at this point, snow and ice. Yeah, that. Perfect. Let's adjust the music a little bit. Alright. Pushing forwards. Siegfried thinks he's found a trail of some sort. He's not sure what, but he's gonna follow that if he's in the lead.
Then
I
I
would
would probably look out for caves or I don't know, whatever.
All right, so John, give me
Crevices.
sure, give me a perception check. Willem, could you do me a
But
favor
that-
of roll a d6, please? A straight roll.
Disadvantage because of the snow? Or straight?
No, it's not. It's not a blizzard right now. There's wind, but there's not. You don't have harsh weather. Yeah, it's just cold. 2. Thank you. Where's my map? Okay, that is. Okay. As you're sort of going, this would be Hellerest. I need you to make me an acrobatics check for me, please.
Okay.
You do have advantage on this, though.
Okay.
Okay. So the group of you are pressing forward. You've sort of been zigzagging, gaining altitude, in a very slow manner, trying to hopefully try to get above any potential weather, or trying to get high up before any weather sort of rolls in, so you might be able to spot caves or creatures from above that might be stalking prey, hopefully. During one of these sort of zags, Hellerast, your boot, despite the spikes in the bottom of it, they're not quite enough, and you sort of slip on a patch of ice that was hidden underneath the snow, and you slide and start tumbling down the mountainside. Let me roll some damage. You take 18 points of fall damage before you can finally sort of catch yourself. You're sort of spinning around and dragging your hands and any gear that you have into the snow to keep yourself from continuing to sort of slide down this mountain face. You've slid about 200 to 250 feet down from away from where your party is.
You alright?
You can't hear.
Ah, fuck.
You shout into the wind, and there's no answer. You see her form, but quite a bit below the group of you.
Let me wait here. I'm gonna help her. Trudge down.
Okay. So Willem and Daeolus are waiting, along with Siegfried?
Yeah.
Okay. Willem and Daeolus. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say probably try to link up with the ropes, but she's probably too far down for us to easily do it. So never mind.
Okay. Willem and Daeolus, I'd like you to both make me Constitution saves with advantage.
Oh boy.
Right, you're both fine. You've stopped moving. You've stopped exerting yourself. So the little bit of sweat that you've built up is now
Freezing.
it's hurting you as opposed to helping you. But your cold weather gear is helping to mitigate that, hence the advantage. Neither of you gain a level of exhaustion. You're both fine. Siegfried is unaffected because he has cold resistance.
You alright, Hellerest?
I don't
Yeah.
think anything is broken, but Jesus Christ.
Dunnan, how are you getting down to her? Sorry. Are you sliding
Is it
down to get
Is
to
it
her
a
quickly?
slope? Or... No,
you're on a sloped area.
Oh boy.
Like there's no trees, there's no brush. Like you could slide down the side of the mountain and try to catch yourself next to her, or you could hike down slowly. And
I
it's not
probably would hike down,
Okay.
try to turn around, and with pythons, if I slide, just ram them into the ground or in the icy ground.
Alright, so
Try to catch myself.
you have a piton ready to sort of spike in if you need to. You start hiking down towards her. Hellerast, as you're sort of getting up and about, are you trying to head back up to the group?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You sort of meet in the middle, which takes you about 30 minutes of sort of trudging through the footsteps that you've both already made technically, to sort of zigzag back. The elevation doesn't seem like it's that far, but the nature of having to sort of scale this slope is requiring this is sort of zigzag pattern. So you burn about an hour's worth of time, Hellerast, getting all the way back up to where Aeolus and Siegfried and Willem are.
Boy, he must be quite mad being here. Well,
Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
it's alright. It's just treacherous ground.
Alright.
Nothing you can do about it.
Maybe we should rope ourselves together a little bit.
It's actually not a bad idea.
You catch
Yeah,
back up
let's
with
do
the
that.
people that are waiting.
And we rope ourselves together, basically, because I think we bought enough
Sure. How much slack are you putting in the line?
rope.
How much feet between
Sorry?
how many feet of rope between the group of you?
I think
Is
like
it?
5 feet
So-
between each.
So it's Siegfried and then 5 feet, and then Dunan, and then 5 feet, and Willem, so on and so forth. Or
I think that
Aeolus.
sounds reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Hellerast, roll me a d6, please. Five. Ooh, lovely. Okay. The next couple hours pass quietly. There's clouds on the northern horizon that you're not quite sure where they're going yet, but they're present, sort of keeping an eye on them. As you're crossing, looks to be sort of a more flat field, almost on one side. I say flat; it's probably still a 10-degree slope. Siegfried can see you stepping, sort of crunching through the snow. Dunan sort of walking in Siegfried's larger footsteps. His stride's a little bit longer than yours, so you're sort of having to stretch. Aeolus, as you're sort of following where Dunan stepped as well, sort of using him as an extra piece of a snowplow. Aeolus, your foot, you hear a cracking sound as the packed snow underneath one of the step that you just took sort of gives way. And you are suddenly dangling. I need a strength saving throw from Willem and Dunan, please. Nice rolls. Okay. The two of you are able to, Dunan, you sort of feel a tug at your waist, and you sort of grab onto the back of Siegfried real quickly, to just try to help out, even though you're tethered together. Willem, you see Aeolus start to drop, and you sort of throw yourself backwards towards Hellerast instinctively. As Aeolus's form sort of drops for a moment, and now you're just hanging by your waist, Aeolus, over an 80-foot deep crevasse that just sort of disappears. You see ledges here and there, the deep blue ice, as the snow sort of just tumbles down, scatters upon the ice that you would have fallen into just there.
Moradin's blazing balls. I'm starting to regret our decision. You alright, Aeolus?
Yeah, I'm fine. Can we just can we pull me out of this? Away from this? That is deep.
Sure.
You can make an
Try to
athletics check
pull
with
him out.
advantage. Yeah. Not a problem for you. Between Siegfried sort of anchoring and you pulling, just Aeolus, you get yanked towards Dunan and Siegfried towards the destination side. Willem, you're on the far side though. As Aeolus gets yanked, you're getting yanked closer to the edge.
Oh
So
boy.
you're sort of dangling now. Aeolus, make an athletics check with advantage thanks to Dunan, since you're the one next to Willem in line. Easy enough. So you yank Willem, but then that pulls Hellerast to the dangling over the crevasse. Willem, make the athletics check with advantage to pull Hellerast out.
I'm starting to regret more and more decisions.
I mean, it kept Aeolus from falling 80 feet into a crevasse. Ah, good enough. Okay. Willem, with the aid of your compatriots behind you, you're able to sort of help drag Hellerast up out of the crevasse as well, as the group of you have all made it to the far side of it and continue onwards.
Aeolus
Always
will-
gonna get all my anger.
Aeolus will
feel
just
it.
take a moment, and he is going to drink this.
Okay, noted. The not Hellas, pardon me. Siegfried points out up ahead. It looks like the trail sort of goes into sort of a rocky outcropping, a series of rocky outcroppings on the far end of this field. He says, I don't know, but it looks like it goes there. What do we want to do?"
Seems like a good place to take a breather.
At this point, it is afternoon. It's about 4 p.m. You've been trudging a good part of the day, and between Hellerast's tumble that cost you some time as well, the day's sort of just been burnt away. And you know that the sun, because you're on the mountainside, will probably be going down in the next 2 hours or so.
Just to keep track, we 5 days to the lodging camp, then 1 day to the matron, or was it within the same day now?
No, it was
What
5 days
we-
to lodging camp, and then 1 day
Yeah.
to the matron, and then from matron Toadtooth, 1 day into the foothills.
Mm-hmm.
And then you rested in the foothills below the snow line.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're on the next day after that. 5, 6, 7.
So
You're
we're
on
7
your-
days, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all 8 day now, okay.
Yeah, because day 6 you got to the matron, and then ended in the foothills, and so you're day 7 and you're resting and going into day 8.
Oh, okay.
You guys bought yourself a lot of time having the horses, though. So
No. Just to keep my
I-
notes up to date.
I think we should find a place to rest for the day.
I think
Absolutely.
this outcropping there that Siegfried pointed out seems like a good place to get our strength.
okay.
Well,
And
let's,
drink some ale and rum.
let's spot if there's anything
Yeah.
living in this outcropping first.
Well, hopefully you're a target, then it would be done with our job.
Okay. You approach it like a stealth check from all of you, please. This is not the party's skill area. You're good at a lot of stuff. Being quiet is not one of them. As you
Dexterity, it's not our strongest suit.
as you just sort of crunch through the snow towards this rocky outcropping, best you can. You're hoping that the wind and the snow sort of deadens any sound. It's probably about maybe a quarter mile away. It's very strange to have this feeling of being able to see something that looks like it is close, and it is close, but just because of the environment, it takes a while to get there. You spend the next hour getting to this sort of series of rocky outcroppings and sort of tuck in between some of them. So you trudge through this treacherous snow-covered terrain, high in the Cloudspine Mountains. Rounding the stones, you come across a haunting sight. A humanoid remains, frozen solid, in the icy embrace of the frigid environment. The details of the scene here tell a story of a desperate struggle and the tragic end that befell the ill-fated individual before you. The body seems to be particularly intact. Amidst the pristine white snow, a figure sits hunched against the large boulder. Their body is encased in the thick layer of ice and frost. The remains wear tattered, frost-covered clothing that hints at a determined spirit. But the icy chill has preserved their final posture, so they are caught in a moment of contemplation or exhaustion. Their face, still frozen in a grim expression, displays the weariness and anguish of their final moments. Ice crystals have formed on their eyelashes and along their frostbitten cheeks, testament to the harshness of the elements they faced. Their eyes are closed. They clutched tightly in the frozen hands is a tattered and weathered-looking piece of parchment. Maybe leather. It's tough to tell. Upon it, you can see ink marks that are faded but still legible. It looks like a map, but it's sort of inside their frozen fist. Next to them,
Take the map. Oh, sorry.
Next to them lies an empty satchel, likely once filled with provisions that have long since been depleted. Surrounding the remains are scattered items, now partially buried in the snow and ice. You see the remains of a broken walking stick, a discarded half-empty water skin is frozen, its contents useless against the insatiable thirst brought on by freezing temperatures. The discovery of this frozen figure sort of brings a somber reminder to all of your minds, the dangers inherent in these mountains, the unforgiving nature of this wintry terrain. It's evident, despite their efforts, the traveler before you succumbed to the relentless grasp of hypothermia. He chose to sit down and rest, and he never rose again.
Poor fellow. He fell victim to the environment. Well, let's hope we do not share his fate. William, could you, I don't know, make some fire? I don't know.
I probably can.
And I'll go over to the corpse and take a look at the map they are
Okay,
holding.
it's currently sort of like folded up and clenched in the fist, which is frozen solid. How are you trying to extricate this map? Like, if you yank it, you're not sure if it'll tear.
No, that's not. Maybe get a flame a little closer so it warms up a little bit.
Okay.
Well, be careful you don't want to burn the map
Yeah.
as well.
Or get it wet so it. Okay, any other ideas? It's frozen solid.
Here, hold on. And Aeolus is going to put one hand on the wrist and put his fingers, or try to squeeze his fingers to try to, like, wrap his fingers around the individual's fingers, and he's just gonna try to pry the hand open.
Here, give me a strength check. Not as much athletics because you're not using your full body. This is just relying on your raw strength. Nice roll. As you sort of curl your hands around the fist, excuse me, and just squeeze to start to try to get purchase, there's a cracking and crunching sound, and it comes free in your hand, along with the frozen fingertips. It's been shattered like ice. His body entire, like parts of his flesh and like glass are now sort of resting in your palm along with the map.
I hand the map over. There you go.
Thank you kindly. And I don't think I can open the map. It's still solid.
It's still frozen. Yeah.
Maybe we could get it into the portable hole so it has some more higher ambient
You don't have a portable.
climate. Sorry?
You have a bag of holding.
Bag of holding, sorry.
Well, if we bring it closer to our camp, if we camp here, and if we're able to get a fire started, just bring it closer to the heat to allow it to warm up a bit.
You're relatively sheltered from the wind here. Willem, you're trying to start a fire? Is that what that survival check is?
Yeah, it was.
What are you gonna burn? You
I
are
think
you are in a plantless environment at this point. You're high enough in the mountains that nothing here is growing.
I think I have. Could I make a small fire using torches?
You could. How many torches do you have?
I have 3. That's why I said a small one.
Okay.
Uh,
I will
Um,
help him. Some
So
have 12.
for each torch, I'll say you have a fire that lasts about an hour, like totally burning the torch.
Probably could supplement with a little bit of oil if needed to.
well, before we go through all of our materials, and Aeolus is going to unhook what I imagine is partially frozen at this point, the roper tendril.
Mm-hmm.
Are we able to use this as some fuel?
I'll try. I'm not sure if it'll burn or not. It's the trade-off of does it burn or does it consume heat and just sort of cook and char. What are you gonna do? Yeah, Liz?
Oh, I will offer it.
Okay. Yeah. So you're able to set a fire. The group of you going to a long rest here for the evening.
Could I take a closer look at the belongings of the corpse? The
Sure.
frozen one?
Yeah.
So is anything of value?
Yeah, so the walking stick, it is broken. Its tip is worn from sort of this trudge through the icy landscape. The head of it looks like it has like a large rock sort of set into the head, so it's a nice smooth sort of resting spot for the hand. Probably works maybe decently as like a impromptu weapon if needed. It looks a lot like a smaller version of the Hurley that Hellerest got from the people that attacked near the farm. Similar style, this sort of heavy-headed piece walking stick, effectively, but it is broken, about a foot beneath the head of the Hurley. The water skin, it's an older style. It's not something familiar to you, and sort of makes you think. Make me a history check, Dunn. I'm not sure. Something about this guy just seems off to you. His clothes seem shoddy. Like they look like they were deliberate for this environment, but shoddily crafted by comparison to even the cold weather gear the group of you wear. Looks to be a human man. But
Nothing in the pockets.
no, nothing else that you're able to find
Okay.
of any value or interest to you. You find sort of the
Just
parchment wrappings of rations that have gone. There's very little. You are able to burn the broken bits of his walking stick if you'd like.
I'm gonna throw them into the fire.
Okay. That'll give you another hour's worth. So you have 4 hours worth of fire. You need 8 hours for a safe long rest.
are the crossbow bolts that we have.
There would.
Aeos will take out half of what is in the bag,
How many are in the back?
or half of his inventory. So he has 70 in total. So he'll take 35 out.
35 out? Okay. We have another hour for every 10 that you burn.
So we're at
You're at 7.5
7.
hours with the 35.
No.
Okay, then
You burn another
All 5
5.
forge.
I'll
Okay.
throw in 5 more.
Sure. So 40 crossbow bolts. That gets
What
you.
about leather?
Leather's not a
Heather
fuel
does
source.
not burn.
Leather does not burn. Okay.
Not a
No.
fuel source. Yeah.
Heli can donate 10 arrows.
No, you're at 8 hours.
Out of his
You're at 8 hours.
Oh, are we at 8 hours now? Okay.
Yeah, and
So-
and the only reason that Aeolus is using the crossbow bolts is because he hasn't used his crossbow.
Guess why she's donating her arrows.
All good. So the group of you settle in for a cold rest. Well, you have fire. It doesn't make it not cold. It is manageable between your bedrolls, the shelter of the rocks around you, and the fire that you sort of tend here and there. You all do complete a long rest, regaining your abilities, but it is a very uncomfortable one. Sort of every person on watch sort of making sure to like nudge everyone every hour or so, making sure that like they're not dying of hypothermia or anything like that. Move around, adjust yourself. Don't lie in a cold patch, stuff like that. It's one of the worst rests you've had in a long time.
Probably the best bet would be snuggle together and share body heat as well as possible.
Would work too. The next morning comes as the sun finally sort of just peeks over the eastern horizon. You didn't sleep well. The group of you are treated to a stunning sunrise. You're high up in the mountains and you can see the sun rising just barely. You can see a thin sort of shimmer of what you suspect to be the water between here and the Stormstring Isles as the sun rises and sort of reflects off of that water. The very faint shimmer. I think the morning of sunrise is a good opportunity. We'll take our mid-session break.
Woo woo.
All right, about 6 minutes. Sounds good. Back on 50.
Yep.
Perfect.
Alrighty.
Sounds good. Bye.
Back into it before you can quit. Okay. The group of you rest, recover, and are treated to, after one of the worst nights that all of you have fared, to one of the best sunrises that you've seen in your time here. Alive.
Damn.
And then the cold returns to your mind. And your
Yes,
task at
that was
hand.
something.
That present companion gone for not but 5 minutes while you watch the sunrise.
I feel like I've been run over by this old bear. God,
Mhm.
that was a unpleasant sleeping. God.
As you
Let's
Yeah,
find this
it's
damn
really
old
cold.
bear.
Danny, can you see my nipples through these, cold weather gear? I'm really cold.
I quit.
For context on it, you cannot.
Give me a perception check.
Alright. Siegfried is going to use a wild shape for survival.
I'll help out.
Alright, so advantage.
With the perception check.
Certainly a survival check for
For the
staying on
nipples.
the trail.
So a picture shows trees.
There's not trees. And the trees were lower down. You passed the trees.
Okay.
You're
I was
above
gonna
the tree
say,
line.
can we keep an eye out for some wood if we're going to be up here another night? Was all I was going to ask for.
You could try. Yeah, you can keep an eye out for stuff like that. I'll keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
I'll add it to my foraging. There might be something interesting up here.
Yeah. You can forage for water in frozen form.
Yeah.
Conveniently
Awesome.
auto succeed. As you set out.
We already found a corpse, by the way, so we can pull a whole Donner's Pass thing.
Yeah. Alright. You said there's that. Okay. The day starts out pleasant, and the weather rapidly starts to turn into sort of gale winds blowing and shifting direction and blowing in a different direction, quite hazardous. Your ability to see is mitigated significantly. You can't see more than about 50 feet ahead of you. Hearing is probably in that same ball range at most, maybe slightly further. As you're progressing, assume the group of you are not lighting a torch just in case you need to save them for campfires.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. The storm turns into a full-blown blizzard. You have two options for what you can do during a blizzard. You can either shelter and hope that it blows over quickly, or you can push on. What do the group of you want to do? I assume you've tethered yourselves back together with the rope as well.
It might be good to see if we can find some sort of shelter.
Yeah, I personally don't want to run the risk of possibly falling down the mountain in a blizzard.
Don't pull a heli.
Just quick rewind. Did the map get warmed up a little bit?
It did. Let me grab you the description for that.
Oh, we forgot about that.
Its ink is faded, but still legible, and it shows a series of meticulous different trails marked through the mountains here. It seems indicative of this individual is trying to find a way across this Cloudspine Mountains and was unsuccessful after, by your guess, maybe 10 or 11 different trail attempts.
Okay.
It looks like they were trying to cross to get to the western side of the cloud spines.
But no mentioning of any caves or hideouts, maybe where they took shelter.
No, unfortunately.
Too bad.
Yeah. You gather might have been a good place for them to rest up and maybe try to not freeze to death if they had found something.
Oh, let's find some place to stay. Maybe that blizzard will blow over very soon.
Okay. Dunnan, roll me a 2d4, please.
Also going to ask if Willem would be able to duplicate the map with his shadow script into
Easily enough.
book.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
Just in case.
Yeah, of course, you can do
Better
so.
safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Now it can be a nice living document and we can update it.
Yeah, and you do not have direct sunlight at the moment. It's the middle of a storm, so you're fine. Or you could have done it in the evening. Either or. Okay. The group you find you don't find the best shelter. But you sort of pull out one of your sort of tarps that you use to sort of craft into tents, and sort of tuck it down into different snowbanks, and then pile more on top of it. And one by one, sort of just all huddle underneath this tent, letting the snow sort of seal the edges on to try to keep it from the wind. All huddled together. Siegfried does get back his wild shape, as the group of you spend the next 6 hours huddled as tightly together as possible for warmth underneath this tarp, as the snow just sort of builds and shifts around you. It is cold, sobering, and long.
Heller asked,
Eventually, the wind sort of finally dies down.
Am I saying this phrase right?
Yeah, put a little more accent on the final syllable. But yeah.
The two of you can actually add 3 hours of training to each of yourselves during this time, if you'd like.
Hey, Ellis, you're better at snuggling than I would have thought. It was really cold last night, though. He would say that in Infernal.
And Helly would catch just like 3 words.
Better snuggling warm.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the word for snuggle and struggle are the same word in Infernal. You have to do it by context.
Either way.
The blizzard passes eventually. It's about 3 in the afternoon. You have another 3-ish hours of daylight. As the storm finally breaks, the clouds continue to move along the mountain range into causing damage to any other travelers anywhere else.
Such a nice sunrise, and then that Ricky Mountains.
Set it out again.
Oh.
About an hour's worth of travel. You're keeping an eye out. Willem, I need a Constitution saving throw from you, as you're sort of scanning the environment, constantly looking for any type of fuel source, knowing that it's something that you need.
What are you talking about? Is it due to cold?
No, not due to cold.
Okay.
Just a con save.
That's not one of my strengths.
Pretty good. You don't go snowblind, as you're scanning the environment constantly. You're exposing yourself to this now basically impenetrable curtain of white and open sky, which is just glaring down upon you and reflecting back up into your eyes. You sort of rest yourself here and there. Maybe it's your kinship to shadows and darker parts of the environment that you always sort of retreat into yourself every now and then, but it gives your eyes that sort of rest as you sort of cover it, averting your glare every few minutes. And and sort of focus. So you do not go blind as you're continuing onwards. Siegfried rounds one of the corners about 4:30 and points out a sort of divot, it looks like, in the snow on the slope a bit higher up from where you are. There's a more rocky and icy outcroppings up this way as the elevation change is slightly more vertical. But he sort of points out what looks to be maybe the mouth of a cave, or at least a sheltered area on the side of the mountain. Could be a spot to sleep, or it's a cave, either or both. You want to proceed towards it, or do you want to keep scanning the mountain range and continuing around?
Does somebody point it out to us?
Yeah, Siegfried pointed it out.
Oh.
Yeah, he rolled really well on his checks.
Let's check it out. It's our best bet yet. Fingers crossed for our owl bear.
Okay. You start ascending. I'd like... so you all have climbing kit, actually. As the area becomes more vertical here. So you hammering in the pitons as you go. Who is going to climb first? Because you're going to have the hardest check as you sort of trailblaze.
I will.
Okay.
Because I think I'm the most athletic.
Go ahead and give
Greatest
me.
athlete.
Go ahead and give me an athletics check. Straight roll, please.
Straight.
Yep. And you would need to untether yourself from the rest of your companions while you're doing this. 30. Nice roll.
Like a natural one.
Yeah. Yeah. Natural one would have actually failed for Dunnan. DC was 15 for him. As you sort of trailblaze, dropping pitons here and there, you use up all of your pitons, so remove them from your inventory.
I took some rope with me just to...
Sort of looping it around them as
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So you drop in these lines and this sort of guideline that people can use as you go. And you get up to this ledge. Now the ledge itself is, let's see, maybe 5 feet deep, and 20 feet long that you're at currently, and you can see further along, a little bit more to the north, there seems to be another ledge that you might be able to get to, but you make it to the first one, no problem. And you have this sort of trail sort of blazed onto the wall with the rope as a guideline along it. What you do then, you can take your hammer and undo one of your own bundles of rope and tie the rope around your hammer, and just sort of use the hammer as a weight to keep the line from sort of blowing away in the breeze as you lower it to one of your companions, such that the DC is now going to be 10 for each of your companions to climb, and they have advantage because the DC is lower because now they have the lines that they can grab onto, which are anchored into the pitons, and they have advantage because you're helping to pull them by tying the rope around their waist and then dropping it back down, so on and so forth. So I'd like a athletics check from the rest of you with advantage, DC 10.
Alright, I secured it for you. Come on up.
Siegfried's fine. Oh, this is good. And Willem. Nice rolls. Okay. One by one, the group of you successfully sort of clamber up into this. As you sort of explore this ledge that you're on currently, it sort of dissipates to the south of you, and the north it sort of angles in towards part of a divot. You're not sure if this is the one that Siegfried spotted, but you can see there's another spot that's sort of divot into the wall further along the edge of the mountain here. The one here, though, about 5 feet in, is coated, sort of stoppered up with a almost flat sheet of ice. Like someone was extruding a sausage made of ice and just sort of chopped it halfway. It's a very flat sheet, almost. And you can sort of see this bluish light sort of filtering through it. You're not sure if it's the source or from behind you, but it has this sort of almost blue internal glow of light, either light hitting and reflecting and refracting from within, or light source from the other side of it, if there is another side of it. It's this beautiful, eerie mix of ice and frost. To either side of it is sort of a cave-like entrance of natural stone that's been covered in the frost and the rime of the area. But it's like an ice plug on the entrance to this space.
William, brought your fire, but now it's the time to use it.
Like the fire or the fire?
The big guns.
Oh, yes, that fire.
Hopefully this isn't explosive in manner.
Oh, you got any better idea to get 2 feet wide ice? Or at least some inches of ice? Quickly?
Not quickly.
Yeah, you see. I think there is no other option. Willem, do your best. And
Make a big fire, shoot it down there.
can we take cover somewhere from what's about to transpire?
Transfire. Ha 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 ha.
Transpire.
Are you wanting a fireball sit down there?
Leave it up to you. Oh,
Give me 2 moments.
Probably prefer something that wouldn't create an avalanche.
Too late.
All right. As you get to the spot, I think you were all on the map, correct?
Yep.
this.
All right. Other than Siegfried. Let me just Siegfried's token. He's in tow with you as well. So let me double check my dynamic lighting. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So you can't see basically past that line that I've sort of drawn into the cavern, and there is a dynamic lighting layer that you can't move past that's a little bit before it. For example, Willem can't get closer to the other line. But that space is just sort of stoppered up. Now there is this section, and let me grab my measuring tool. This section up here that looks to be also a sort of a divot and sort of curls away out of sight. You're not sure if that's another entrance, but you would need to sort of traverse this treacherous area to try to get over there if you wanted to check it.
Ellie's not into that.
So we have to get over there.
Well, that, or you have to get through the ice in front of you.
Too far to jump. Oh, wait. And the ice is like inches wide, and we don't know how.
You have no idea how deep this ice in front of you goes. could be an inch, and it's just very opaque. Or it could be feet, and it's not quite opaque, but the amount of ice just makes it opaque.
You know, on second thought, William, let me try something first. And Danan will take out the basher, and it starts glowing a little bit red, a little bit white, as I cast Searing Smite on.
Okay.
And I'll try to hack away at the ice
Okay.
here.
Can I take that spell slot back then?
Yeah, sure. Attack after attack done, you're just sort of hitting it. You're sort of taking off small chunks here and there. You're not causing big fissures like you're hoping. There's a bit of steam here and there from the blows, but the fact that you're not getting like cracks as if you were hitting like a frozen lake, it seems to indicate this is probably pretty thick ice.
I don't even think that the fireball will have a big impact on it. It seems like very deep, very wide ice. Contemplating if I should get over here. Do we have some rope left?
You only spent 50 feet sort of scaling up this distance here.
Okay.
So yeah, I think
I have
each
like
of you
50
had.
left, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think each of you had 2 bundles, if I recall what you purchased correctly.
Yeah, because the climber's kit came with rope,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of anything that we had.
Yeah, and you guys had gotten rope previously also, because of the cliff on Thorn Ridge Bluffs.
On second thought, Willem, could you just bamf over there with a spell? Should be doable from here. And bring some rope with you.
Are you afraid of falling?
I look down a little bit. No? You? But I'm not stupid.
I
There is an easy
will.
way to get across.
Aeolus will take out rope. I'll tie an end around myself, and I'll take out my climber's kit,
Okay.
and I'll start to make my way across the wall.
Okay.
Hold on till the end.
Make me an athletics check.
For the record, I didn't order you to do that. I was doing
Can't
it.
order me to do anything.
Kelly has the same idea.
You think?
She's going to cast Alter Self and give herself some really good claws to be able to do that, to be able to climb. She's an idiot, and she just remembered she can do that.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, go ahead and give me an athletics check with advantage. And now that Aeolus has the rope across, the DC is going to be lower for you as well.
Okay.
And you're concentrating on that. That does last for an hour as well.
Correct.
Easy enough for you. Just sort of very like Hulk scaling the wall of a building, just sinking your claws into the ice and stone, some of it crumbling underneath, but you're just getting good purchase. Easily make it across.
Alright, I guess then I come across too.
Are you anchoring the rope over here to something?
Yeah, try. Use any help.
Right. Siegfried will drop 2 of his pitons into the wall for you. Grab his thing and remove some of them. And sort of secure the rope to the wall on this side as well. Pitons. He has 8 remaining. He is, of note, Siegfried also has 10 torches if you want to burn it for campfires at any point. Okay. Go ahead and make an athlete. Oh, you have advantage, but you don't need it. You made it across, no problem. Done.
Okay.
Siegfried will follow suit. Siegfried makes it. And Willem. How are you getting across?
Carefully.
Easy enough, not a problem for you. One by one, the group of you sort of cross. And Aeolus, Seyfried will use some of his pitons and secure the rope onto the wall here as well. So that way the group of you can get back.
Alrighty.
I think it's 6 remaining. Okay.
Alright,
Let
let's
me
find us
grab-
some more beer then.
Let me grab some description for you before you start moving.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. Okay. As you reach this ledge and peer into a undulating chamber before you, the walls are made out of a thick blue and white ice that seem to reflect and refract the sunlight from above deeper into the cave than would normally be natural, giving the place an eerie and foreboding sense as you gaze within. See the cavern turns to your left, out of sight up ahead of you. The sounds of the wind behind you whipping through the area, and the sounds of a faint crack of ice here or there, and the occasional drip of water before you. Where would you like to move to?
Getting ready. Taking out the Bastion shield. Well, let's find this creature. Hopefully it's in there.
If this is indeed the creature's cave, didn't we say we didn't want to go into it and fight the creature within its lair?
You wanna fight it out here and get thrown off?
I'm not
Because I
afraid
think
of
it's strong
heights.
enough. Then you're stupid.
I can also fly.
That makes it a little bit easier. I cannot, so I rather fight inside there.
Why the
You
hell
can
didn't
stay
you
out there.
fly over here?
Why
Huh?
would I want? Why would I fly when we spent all this coin on climbing materials?
Oh god.
And
Hilarious is gonna
venturing in.
swear at him in
We're coming,
Turkish,
guys.
and he only half understands.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Dunnan, as you sort of round the corner there and look, the ice of the cavern dissipates, and relying upon your dark vision, you see it opens up before you into this natural cavern, although a little bit off to the south, your left as you enter. You see a few what appear to be worked tiles made of stone that sort of mix with the natural cavern floor here. It's unexpected. The cavern here before you is about 20 feet in height, and has a stalactited stalactited roof and stalagmites scattered about the edges on the ground. It is very icy before you.
Mm.
Looks slick, like an ice rink.
Carefully go forward with half speed.
Okay. Moving at half speed, you are able to safely sort of take steps here and there. The spikes on your boots help, but they don't mitigate the risk. They don't entirely mitigate the risk, pardon me, as you proceed forward.
Probably make a lot of sound.
Yeah, it's sort of it's like walking around with cleats on a tile floor, like just clink, 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 clink,
Mm.
as you go. You can as you move deeper in, you see off to your left that sort of worked stone tiled floor area. You see it, natural parts of the cavern sort of melded onto it or part of it in some way. You see a small alcove here and another area it looks like disappearing here.
Albert, you in here? No. Slowly walking, look around.
Tring, 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 tring. Cleated shoes echo across the
And-
ice.
Any signs of a creature living here? Like, I don't know, some bones from some eaten creatures, whatever.
Make me a perception check. None that you see at the moment.
Mm.
You're sort of gazing
Looks
out.
clear.
This area here, it gains about a foot in height like onto the sort of tiled floor area over the sort of ice rink that you're walking upon right now.
Remembering the roper tendril that Aeolus offered up before, as I move through, I'm gonna carefully pay attention to the stalactites and stalagmites to make sure that they're not a blast from the past.
Okay. Johnny, see, the icy area sort of ends about here.
Mhm.
And from there, there's this sort of deep snowy section where it looks like there's maybe a foot or 2 feet of snow sort of just piled up and trenched, and like drifts in this area. You're not sure if it's like blown in from outside or something, but a very sort of thick, difficult area to move through. It sort of starts about this region. While the group of you are going through, the wind starts to pick up and howl through the cavern, and some of that snow sort of gets picked up and sort of blown around as this sort of, not really a blizzard, but just sort of a blusterous gale. Like the area is lightly obscured, like it's a little bit harder to see things, but you can still see through it as you're going.
Any sound besides our shoes or the spikes on
Well,
our shoes?
now the wind howling through the space is
Besides, okay.
yeah. Willem and Helleras, are you staying back there off of the ice rink area, or are you moving forward also? Willem, Helleras, you're both muted.
Oh my god, my phone. No, she's still got her claws.
Yeah.
So she's just gonna kind of crouch and scuttle along.
Okay. I mean, you do have the spike boot, so it's still sort of that slow going at half speed. Either way, but
Yeah,
scuttle
but she's
on.
moving forward.
Okay. Willem, you just waiting off of the ice rinky area.
I think he said that.
BRB, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Siegfried will push forward a little bit to stay relatively close to Dunnan.
As Dunnan continues to explore forward, I would like to investigate the piled area.
Sure. You can go ahead and move 15 feet to south. Due south. Yeah. Alright. So right here, you're sort of off of the icy floor, and it's sort of gravelly where parts of the tile are sort of broken. And then there's about a 1 foot step up onto these like stone tiles that are clearly like worked and chiseled. As you take this 1 foot step up, your boots sort of crunch and grind through the gravel a little bit, and the wind's still sort of blowing around you as you go. You see ahead of you that alcove. And you can see it, the floor of it a little bit more properly, now that you're closer to it and a little bit closer to the full elevation as well. The floor of that circular room ahead of you is coated in bones, refuse, torn bits of hide and fur. As the wind continues to sort of whip around Hellerast.
Sorry, I could hear you, but I had ordered Chinese food, so I was running to get the food before Ashley got it all.
Oh, well, good. Hellerast, does a 24 hit you?
Enjoy.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Sort of materializing out of this sort of blustery gale, hidden from sight by its natural camouflage. A claw sort of reaches out and strikes towards you. I need the group of you to roll initiative, please.
So I moved my character slightly in, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine.
Son of a bitch.
Let me get Siegfried. Okay. Beautiful. Right there. Alrighty. Aeolus, you are the first to be sort of vividly aware of this danger. Hellerast, that hit, you take 19 points of slashing damage as one of the talons just sort of rips through you, revealing this thing's presence as it was hidden. Effectively invisible until it moved within this sort of gale that it's doing, that is within the space. Aeolus, what will it be? As you are immediately alerted to this danger.
Aeolus going to start off with, as a bonus action, is going to cast, or is going to use his blood curse of the marked. And I am going to amplify it.
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah, what kind of save? That is... next attack we make...
It is a DC
no save.
14.
Oh, no,
Oh.
so then on your turn, whenever you hit the cursed creature with a weapon which you have active Crimson Right, you roll an additional Hemocraft. Okay. So you don't have a Crimson Right active yet.
Right.
So, you may not want to do that yet. That's better on subsequent turns. Right?
That's not what I...
Was it a different blood curse?
Oh! I was reading the other one. So I'm activating my Crimson Right.
Okay.
Which I'll take the 6 necrotic damage from it.
Sounds good.
I will strike the creature.
Sure.
Which then
take the attack
activates
action.
That.
And you damage a creature. Alright, well, see if you hit first.
Yes. Do.
16.
I don't think that's gonna hit.
First attack, as you sort of whirl at the sound of Hellerast sort of crying out in pain, you see this form behind you, this massive 12-foot tall behemoth of a creature. You have no idea how it sort of snuck up through this snowy, blustery gale into the midst of the group of you and went after the largest looking individual. You turn and thrust your great spear at it. You feel it hit and sort of sink into like the fur and feathers. You don't find purchase though. Not quite, just missed.
I will spin around and try to hit it again.
Go for it. 25 does hit. Go ahead and for the damage, that is 13. Alright, and now you get to use the Brand of Castigation. So you know the direction of the creature, and each time deals damage to you or creature, takes psychic damage equal to your intelligence modifier. Cool. Very nice. Very cool. Alright. So let me mark that. Say Brand of Castigation will be this, the little flag. It has to make a con save.
And that is a
Which it succeeds on.
DC 14.
No, it doesn't have to make a con save against your brand.
Ow.
No, it has to make a con save for something else. Anything else, Aeolus?
I'm gonna slowly shift myself here.
Okay. You step onto the icy terrain again.
Yeah.
Okay, you're back into this sort of ice rink, removing a half pace unless you're risking falling.
Yep.
All right. It's now the layer action. Aeolus and Siegfried both have to make dexterity saving throws as the ice beneath you goes not Aeolus, pardon me. Dunnan and Siegfried. I was looking at the wrong name. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dunnan and Siegfried.
What time I
Dexterity?
rolled decent?
Dex save, yeah.
No. I have that.
Siegfried no longer has advantage. Shield
I have
Master.
shield. Allows you to make a dexterity source.
This has nothing to do with damage. It is causing the ice underneath your feet to go even more slick. This is to avoid falling prone. Dunnan,
Yeah.
you fall prone.
Even with my stupid aura, man.
Yeah, yeah, that was a really, really poor roll on your part.
Fuck me, huh?
Yeah. You're not concentrating on anything, so there's no added effect. Now it's the owlbear's turn.
That's okay. You could just push yourself off the wall and just slide.
Yeah. I skate over.
It is going to turn to you, Aeolus. It has this. Aeolus, I need a Constitution saving throw from you as it turns and opens its beak and lets out this wintry breath towards you. Nice save. Good save. You take half damage, so you take 13 points of cold damage instead of 26. As I'll grab the cone in a moment. The whole area is just sort of coated in this ice and frost. It is heavily obscured for until the end of the owlbear's next turn. So you are currently unable to see it. It is then going to turn, make Helleras, do you have a melee weapon out?
Yes, I have the Hurley out.
Okay. You can make a opportunity attack if you'd like to make one.
I would.
And it also takes 3 points of psychic damage.
Sorry, that was on advantage. Whoops.
Because it dealt damage to me.
You. All right, 5 points of psychic. You said 3 points of psychic. Pardon me.
3.
Yeah.
And
That's 3.
due to my brand, I always know the location of the creature.
Sure.
Which
So Hellerest, it was.
it hasn't left the cave, guys.
You would not have advantage at the time that it left your reach, based on where it was, because it's just sprinting towards Siegfried. You see Aeolus vanish into this sort of cone of this cold cone. It's not cone of cold spell, but vanish into that sort of wintry cone. You make that swing, go wide as you're sort of startled by everything, and it's going to make 2 claw attacks on Siegfried. That is against Siegfried a 27 to hit and a 15, which misses. Siegfried takes 19 points of slashing damage from the one hit. That brings us around to Willem while I get my cold cone.
Can I see the owlbear?
Pardon? Yeah, you can.
Can I see?
Yeah, the cone only enveloped Aeolus, so only Aeolus is affected by the heavy obscurement. It is also difficult terrain during that time as well, Aeolus. Just FYI.
Yep. So I'm half movement.
No, they don't stack, unfortunately.
Oh.
The Doomsday Machine.
It's not letting me bring a token out. Would you be able to help me with it?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead and do it right there.
There we go. Let me grab that. The one that I expect, right?
Yes.
There you are. Can you control it?
That I can. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I was having an issue pulling it out, but thank you. So, Willem would say, Shadows, help! My friends are in danger. Lend me your aid. And you'd see this lovely creature come leaping forth. Are you able to? Thank you.
Oh, fuck is that?
Willem, make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
I can probably do so.
Is it a porcupine?
That is the most demonic looking porcupine.
Yes.
Willem, as you sort of
I've
pull
seen.
this thing forth, you hear a voice in your head. That's it. Continue.
Great.
Clearly, we'll call him Frank. Frank is going to target the owlbear.
You're targeting Frank the owlbear.
No,
Or
no.
Frank the dog is targeting Frank the owlbear.
Yeah, that's it.
Sure. Double Frankfurter action. Okay, so you're conjuring that. And do you have advantage on spell attack rolls when it's next to a thing? I can't remember.
No.
No, it has disadvantage on saves, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So the first Scorching Ray misses with 14.
There'd be 3 of them, shouldn't it? I'm just gonna.
Yeah, second level spell. 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh no. Your other 2 also go wide as you're focusing on Frank's form that you weren't expecting, sort of being conjured, pulled from the wisps of shadow here and there throughout the area. It's not great.
Yeah, I think Frank can attack Frank though right now, correct?
Yeah. So let me move this here. 6, just in case I reorder it. It's medium, not trust. Move it through. Start your turn. Blah blah. So I'm adjusting the ability to, instead of rolling initiative for it, it just shares your initiative and goes immediately after you.
Okay, that's fair.
But moves towards the target, most direct route. I'm assuming you're selecting the owlbear as the target.
Yep.
You make opportunity attacks, but only against the target. Issue well 5 feet the target, disadvantage. Okay, so I can make an attack. With advantage, thanks to Siegfried's position. 14 is not quite enough, as it sort of latches on these sort of bony protrusions that pass for teeth, sort of holding on to the arm, but it's not getting any real like damageable purchase through the thick hide. All right.
Oh, Frank.
That'll bring us to Siegfried, who just took a chunk of damage. He's going to spend Wild Shape and choose This is probably a chalice form, I think. Yeah, he's gonna go with chalice form. That's a bonus action? Yeah. And then, what's the range on chalice?
30 feet.
Is it 30? Thank you. So, he can't see you, though. So you're heavily obscured, so he can't help you. He can help Halaras, though. He'll position to here. Cast Cure Wounds on himself at first level. For 5 points. But then dump Halaras a little bit extra healing. And does he have this set up with an attack? Chalice. There we go. Halaras also gets 5 points. So this thing's big. Dunnan.
Thank you.
As we come around to you, Dunnan. You are currently prone.
Oh, he gets up.
Half your
There
movement.
you are. Yes. Then move 10 feet, because that's all I can. Alright.
If you're not moving at half speed over the ice, I need an acrobatics check, please. Yeah, prone on ice is not a great space to be. Hey, you avoid falling prone again, though.
Okay.
As you sort of get up and sort of slide the 10 feet towards this thing.
Time for some payback and bonus action. Spiritual weapon.
Ooh, nice. Alright. Grab your...
Right in front of its face. It's gonna miss, but whatever.
You should be able to control that. Just confirm that you can.
Yeah. And then there's an action dash.
Action
rest.
dash. Okay, I'm moving at half speed.
Yes.
You're good. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
spiritual weapon, not quite enough. I come around to Halaras.
Siegfried is within 10 feet for the aura. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
the hound also. Yes.
Okay, Hallie's gonna cast. She's gonna pull out Corin.
Okay. Let me grab Corin for you. We've updated Corin. Corin currently has hit points equal to twice your shaman level, which is 6, plus 5, so 17. I've updated the token to not have the hit points, so that way you can just add it anytime you summon her, instead of having to update it every time you gain a level.
Okay, cool. So she's gonna pull Corin out, and is that her only action?
No, that's your bonus action to conjure Corin.
That's my
And-
bonus action. Okay,
and-
she's gonna have Corin. Actually, she's going to cast Conjure Animals.
Ooh, nice. What would you like to conjure?
Um,
That means you drop concentration on your claws, but that's fine.
yes, well, she's going to transfer concentration to Corin.
Ah, there you go. All right, so Corin is going to focus on conjure animals then.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I call it Corin's crew in my sheet.
Perfect.
I'm
I'm in a whole bunch of bunnies.
This thing is big, so she wants to have something that's going to distract it and piss it off. So probably 2 beasts of a challenge rating 1 and lower, and I'm going to cast it at 3rd level.
3rd level? Okay, let's see. So CR1, you said?
I'm sorry, what?
Challenge rating 1, you said? Or
Yes, 1.
what's a cave bear? Maybe a cave bear CR1. No, that's CR2. Black bear? That's 1/2.
Oh, can I have 4 black bears?
Yeah, sure. Black.
Oh, hey, 4 black bears.
All right.
Aeolus is gonna be so fucking confused when he steps out of this. There's gonna be so much shit he didn't see.
All right. Let me find a black bear. All right. I'm adding you as able to control and edit this sheet, Halarast.
Okay.
And I'm adding it to your journal.
Okay.
You should see it at the top of your journal now, correct?
Black bear. I see it.
All right.
Perfect.
Let me just grab a token for it. Of course it did that. Gotta love country animals. Okay, and you have 4 of these, correct?
Correct.
What size are they?
I don't know. They're just regular black bears, so probably about 4 to 500 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, well, it says on the sheet. Are they medium?
Oh, so what size are they? Medium.
Okay, and they have 19 hit points.
And can climb 30 feet.
And AC 11. Okay, 4 black bears. Can you control that token?
Yep.
Alright, perfect. Position them where you would like. Now, rather than rolling them into initiative, I'd like you to assign one of the bears to each of your companions or to yourself. You have 4 companions and yourself, so 5 options. And whatever your companion strikes or targets, the bear will also attack at the end of your companion's turn.
Okay. So he's surrounded by bears.
Alright, so Dunnan, put a red pip on yourself. Willem, put a blue pip on yourself. Aeolus, put a green pip on yourself. And Halarast, put a pink pip on yourself. So whatever you focus on, the bear focuses on. So Halarast, at the end of each of their turns, you can just drop the attack in for that particular bear.
Okay.
That way we're not dragging initiative. Never whisper, always roll advantage. Beautiful. And it does have multi-attack, don't forget. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's got bears out the wazoo. Anything else, Halarast? That's your bonus action to pull a Corin. She can't attack this round, she can attack next round. And action. Moving anywhere? Are you good?
I'm just going to back up another step towards Willem just to stay out of melee range.
Okay, sounds
But
good.
close enough that Corin's got only one. Is close enough to do it in one.
Alright. Aeolus, round to you. Top of the order. You are currently in the middle of this sort of blustery, like heavy amount of winter energy in this cone that the owlbear conjured.
Aeolus is going to step towards the sound.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's 10 feet. You step out, and
See 5 bears.
the owlbear
The
has
big one in the
friends. It brought other bears with it.
Just gave birth to 5 bears.
Owlbears reproduce by budding.
Would I have to roll an intelligence check to know where all the creatures besides Corwin came from?
Looking at it, I mean, you have no idea what the one thing that the spiky
Yeah.
thing is. No fucking clue. The other bears are all looking at the owlbear pretty angrily, so you gather that they're probably on your side.
Alright, cool. Avoiding whatever the fuck that is. 20. And I'll risk an acrobatics check to move
Okay, go ahead and give me that check, please.
in between here.
13. Just barely succeed there.
Woo!
13 is the DC.
That hamstring's gonna hurt later.
Your one leg sort of splays out, and you sort of catch yourself in a split for a moment before picking yourself back up.
Yep. I've had that happen. 2 attacks at the owlbear.
Sure, go for it. Advantage, because you have it flanked with Dunnan. Hey, 25 and a crit both succeed. That is going to be 14 points on the first. And that's 8, 20, 25 on the second. The most damage Aeolus has ever done in a combat.
Awesome.
Not even in a round, in a combat. Great rolls.
And that'll be Aeolus's turn.
Okay, sounds good. Nothing with your bonus then, right?
No, because I have to activate Blood Curse of the Mark before I attack, because it's whenever
Got it. Yep.
I deal damage.
All right. The owlbear needs to make 2 con saves. Good and good. The blustery gale continues to fill the area. At layer action 20. 20. Roll. There we go. Okay. The whole area sort of shakes for a moment, and you can hear the cracking and fracturing of some of the icicles and stalactites from the ceiling, cracking and sort of falling. Aeolus, roll me a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A D10, please. 7. Starting at Corwin, going clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's Dunnan. Wonderful. Dunnan, a 13 to hit you with a stalactite.
Nope.
All right. Dunnan, roll me a D8, please.
God.
1. The bear, north of Dunnan, is the first in the following order. That is a 23 to hit the bear.
Oh,
Jesus.
shit, yeah.
The bear takes 8 points of damage.
Okay.
And Hellerast, then roll me a D8, please, for the third stalactite. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Aeolus. But it's only a 9 to hit Aeolus. So
Misses. Yeah.
stalactite falls right behind your Aeolus and shatters upon the ice floor. So that's the layer action. Now it's the owlbear's turn. It's going to start with the bear. How smart is this creature? No, it's going to prioritize these big bears that just popped out of nowhere. Aeolus, sorry, I don't want to cheat you out of it. Aeolus targeted something, so Hellerast, you get to make the green bears attacks before we go. So go ahead and do them now.
Okay, what do I do?
Pull up the bear sheet by shift double-clicking on the token if you don't have it up, or you can pull it out of your journal, and then you roll one of each of the attacks. Just click on the name of them.
Okay, let's see.
It is a bite and a claw, I believe. Yep. So 10 does not hit. Crit does. Nice. Bear deals 9 points of damage to the owlbear.
Oh, the bear follows me so well.
All right. Now the owlbear will do its thing. It's going after the green owlbear first. It is going to try to claw the shit out of that thing. Oh my. 26 to hit that bear.
Yes.
Okay. 27 points of slashing damage.
Oh, he died. He's gone.
He rolled really well on the damage there. Just sort of guts this bear that sort of lets out this primal scream before dissipating into the magical energy used to summon it.
No, not Coda.
Alright. That's the first claw. Second claw is going to go after the next bear. Let's roll me a d6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Red, blue, orange. Pink. Not orange. 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the blue. Claw attack at the blue. 27 to hit the blue.
Yes.
18 points of slashing. I think it's still standing.
It's still standing.
Just
It's got
barely.
1 point left.
1 point left. Damn. Alright, and then the... all too close for the Breath of Winter. It's going to beak attack the last bear. The pink one. Does 17 hit the bears?
Yes.
Alright, it takes 16 points of damage. And I need a wisdom saving throw for the bear. It does actually get a Dunnan's bonus, though.
Okay.
Dunnan, what's
Plus
your-
4.
Plus 4. Alright, so just click on wisdom, because I don't think it has a save. It does not become frightened of the snowy owlbear, despite the massive, like 2-foot like sized beak that just sort of took its shoulder off of it. So it takes 16 points of damage.
Okay.
You need to mark them on the token specifically.
Right. And that's the pink bear.
The pink bear took 16. So if you click on the green pip after you click on the token, you can type in -116 and hit enter.
Okay.
And
Cool.
the blue one took 18 points of damage.
Okay.
And the red one took 8 points of damage.
Okay.
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 The Dire Snow Owlbear will, as a bonus action, hide. As it sort of fades into this the snowy gale that's surrounding the area, and so it just vanishes into everything. We'll pick up there with Willem's initiative next week.
Wonderful.
It
Or
just hides
wait.
in plain sight.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Actually, we don't meet next week,
It
right?
sounds like cheating. Yeah, next week's off.
Next week's off. All right, so yeah, you're right. So we'll pick up on the 11th.
And we should all be here.
We
Hold on.
should.
Let me make.
Mhm.
Let me not cheat you guys. So nope, it
Hopefully
did maintain
fucking top.
concentration when the bear hit it. So you can see that it's sort of reaffirming itself. You get the feeling that one of its layer actions is this snow that allows it to hide in this way.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm regretting going
Wonderful.
after this one.
You're regretting picking up this bounty.
Wait, why?
It
Wait,
pays
you guys
ridiculously
can't
well.
tell where the bear is?
Yeah.
It's a 12 feet owl bear that just vanished in plain sight.
Yeah.
Just right before it
Oh
died.
man, how the tables have turned, because I could see it where I know where
No,
it is.
you know where it is. There is a
Yeah.
difference.
Well, wait,
But-
they don't know
Nick-
that. So Aeolus spent the previous combat blind as shit.
Is it now mechanically, from a mechanical perspective, is it invisible?
Effectively, yeah.
Or is it just...
Yep.
So
Oh, okay.
it's hidden. So you can make it as an action. You'll be able to make a perception check to try to beat its stealth check. It has the ability to hide in plain sight while this snow is going on inside its lair. As part of that action, if you succeed, I assume that you're alerting all of your companions. So you're revealing its presence of where it is, meaning I will move it back to the
Interesting.
token layer.
Don't let me forget to use that next time.
Branding smite. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, so it would still shed light. So I would say I would I would give it disadvantage on the stealth, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, because not technically invisible. It's hidden. It's like it's behind cover using its camouflage, but then it's glowing. Wishy-washy. It's a weird space. Grinding Smite will definitely have an effect. I'm not going to rob that.
Yeah.
But it was
if you hit with it.
It would
effectively
be the same like Fairy Fire.
Yeah. Like you'll have a better chance of seeing where it is because it's using the sort of whirling snow and its camouflage to just sort of vanish because you're fighting it in its lair.
but it was effectively surrounded, so it didn't really move. You
As
just
far as you
can't
know.
see it.
As far as
Okay.
you know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
This thing could turn into snowflakes and just apparate somewhere.
Or it's a huge creature. Maybe it bounds over your heads.
Right.
That's frightening.
It's-
All right.
It just hops over, makes no sound as it lands. Yep, nope.
Yeah, it's a predator. Yeah. All right. We'll pick up there next week though, or the
Okay.
next session,
Alright,
not
guys.
next week.
See
The
you in
11th.
2 weeks, guys.
Yeah.